Hello and welcome to Football Daily, where today we're covering the youngsters who could explode next season and save their clubs a fortune in the process. 10. Eric García. If one moment cost Man City their shot at a third title on the bounce in 2019-20, it was probably Aymeric Laporte's knee crumbling in the club's 4-0 win over Brighton in August. With the Frenchman out, Guardiola had to use Fernandinho, Rodri and Kyle Walker as auxiliary centre-backs, but perhaps he should have given more minutes to Eric García, a Spaniard poached from Barcelona in 2017 and now linked with a return to Catalonia. At 19, García has just 15 total appearances for City and 3 league starts, but he seems to fit the system well already. Of the 12 games he's appeared in this season, City have won 11, and like Laporte, García tackles rarely but intercepts often, ranking 4th in the squad for the latter. Unsurprisingly, he's also a strong distributor, hitting 4 accurate long balls per 90, again level with Laporte and Stones, and overall finding the target with 94% of his attempts. The only true weakness in his game so far is his aerial presence, with only a quarter of his challenges successful, but that's common in teenagers and will improve with strength and experience. Playing ahead of his age with Spain's under-21s, García has won the Youth Euros twice and could well be competing for the real thing in 2021. With rumoured targets like Skriniar and Pau Torres likely to command hefty fees, City might decide Garcia's time is now. 9. Ainsley Maitland-Niles. Between the loan signing of Cedric Soares in January and the public pursuit of Thomas Partey, the future doesn't look bright for Ainsley Maitland-Niles at Arsenal. Still just 22, the Englishman is the 11th most used player in the Arsenal squad this season, but is widely rumoured to be surplus to requirements, despite acquitting himself well in both full-back slots and arguably doing enough to earn a shot in his preferred role in central midfield. However, Arsenal may have to drop Partey and spend big up front this summer if Aubameyang leaves, and that could give Maitland-Niles a window to prove his worth. A strong defender, the youngster has averaged over 4 tackles and interceptions a game his whole career, the same as Partey, and his exceptional pace and two-footedness make him press-resistant too, with close to the Ghanaians 2 dribbles a match. He rarely commits fouls, but his passing could benefit from Mikel Arteta's attention, with an occasional sloppiness seeing his completion rate drop below 80% last campaign, extremely low for a defender at the North London side. With Dani Ceballos unlikely to return to the Emirates for 2020-21 and Torreira and Xhaka lacking mobility in the middle of the park, Arteta could do worse than trying Maitland-Niles' dynamism in the midfield. Before we move on to our next section, just a quick reminder to subscribe to Football Daily and hit that notification bell to never miss one of our top 10s. 8. Paulinho. With Kai Havertz's stay at the Bayern all but certain to end this summer or next, the conversation will soon turn from his destination to his replacement at Leverkusen, and fortunately for Peter Bosz, he has plenty of possibilities. 17-year-old attacker Florian Wirtz has already netted his first Bundesliga goal, against Bayern Munich no less, but ahead of the local boy in the pecking order is Paulinho, a 19-year-old in his second year with the West German outfit. The Brazilian admittedly cost the club €20 million, but that's a pittance compared to Havertz's rumoured €90 million price tag, and if his current form is any indication of his potential, it'll prove a steal. At the time of writing, Paulinho has played only 224 league minutes for Leverkusen, but in that time has bagged 3 goals and 2 assists, and while his stats have been boosted by his limited game time, they look extremely strong. Paulinho is taking over 3 shots, creating 3 chances, and completing 4.4 dribbles every match, meaning that even if all those figures drop by half, he'll still be among the most promising teenagers on the continent. Recurrent injuries to Bellarabi, Folland, and Bailey are likely to see the youngster given plenty of chances to shine, whether Havertz stays or not. But Paulinho will be the only man in Leverkusen rooting for his teammate to move on this summer. 7. Brandon Williams. Manchester United may no longer be the terrifying prospect they once were, but 2019-20 has been broadly successful for the Red Devils. The club has remained in the Champions League race despite long injuries to Pogba and Rashford, and youngsters like Greenwood, McTominay and Brandon Williams have shown themselves to be useful contributors, with the latter establishing himself as a genuine alternative to Luke Shaw. At 19, Williams is 5 years younger than Shaw, but already looks his equal. Both players win possession around 3 times a game, and while Shaw gets beaten less, Williams adds more in attack, completing 1.4 dribbles per 90, twice as many as the former Southampton man, and creating more chances a game, at 1.3 to Shaw's 1. More importantly, he's comfortable on the ball and never anxious, meaning his teammates trust him and involve him in possession, with the Englishman averaging around the same number of touches each match as Aaron Wan-Bissaka on the opposite flank. Though widely expected to spend big again this summer, United are not rumoured to be in the hunt for a left-back, no doubt thanks to the teenager's progress. After years of stagnation, the club's growing core of promising youngsters could be their ticket back to the top. 6. Maxence Caqueret. While Tanguy Ndombele has endured a rollercoaster season in London, his replacement in the Lyon engine room, Thiago Mendes, has had an even tougher year. Parting with new coach Silvinho after just 9 games, the club was forced to turn to ex-Marseille manager Rudy García to get back on track, but still missed out on European football when the curtailed campaign left them 7th. And to make matters even worse, the club went out and spent €20 million on Bruno Guimaraes in January, making it clear that Mendes is not seen as the long-term solution in midfield. He may not even be the short-term solution, as Bruno isn't the only young star in the Lyon clubhouse. The new boy has actually seen less game time so far than academy graduate Maxence Caqueret, who joined the club at 11 and has 8 league appearances this season. Like Bruno, Caqueret is chiefly a defensive player, winning possession 5.2 times a game to Mendes' 4.4. But he's mobile too, dribbling twice as much as the former Lille man. He also completes more passes per game than Mendes and is rarely wasteful, losing possession less often than both Brazilians. With Aouar expected to leave and Bruno already groomed for his next step, the 20-year-old Caqueret could make himself the mainstay of a Lyon side striving for redemption in 2021. 5. Alessandro Bastoni. We may be cheating with this entry, as Alessandro Bastoni cost Inter Milan €31 million back in 2017. But compared to the rumoured €90 million Milan Skriniar could fetch if sold, that's a bargain. And Bastoni started the 2019-20 campaign earning just €300,000 per year, less than teammate Diego Godin collects in 2 weeks. According to Transfermarkt, the Italian is the 7th most valuable under-23 centre-back in the world, ahead of William Saliba, and in fact he's played more league minutes than Godin this season, helping Inter concede just 24 goals in 25 games before the season was suspended. Among Inter's centre-halves, Bastoni gets dribbled past the least and has the second best aerial record to Godin, winning 63% of his duels compared to just 52% for Skriniar. His distribution is close to the Slovakians too, with 4 long balls a game and 89% of his passes finding their man, and he's doing all this as a 21-year-old, under a coach who rarely places trust in youth. Though yet to make his international bow, Bastoni is set to star for Inter and Italy for years to come. If Skriniar does exit the San Siro, the sight of Bastoni in the back line should sugar the pill. 4. Curtis Jones. Under Jurgen Klopp, Liverpool have achieved levels of success not felt on Merseyside in over 30 years, and now with the Premier League title in the bag, the pressure will be on the Reds to stay atop their new perch. In order to do that, they'll need to keep investing in their squad. Already reports linking them with Bayern Munich's Thiago Alcantara have emerged, as well as rumoured moves for Norwich City's Todd Cantwell and Lyon's Houssem Aouar. But spare a thought for their academy product Curtis Jones, who's been slowly making a name for himself inside Melwood. This season, the 19-year-old became the youngest player ever to captain Liverpool against Shrewsbury Town in the FA Cup, and has already chalked up 3 goals in 9 first-team appearances, including a 20-yard curler on his debut against Everton. Jurgen Klopp has regularly praised the midfielder in the press, and sanctioned the club handing him a new long-term deal on July 4th. A technically gifted operator, Jones will be looking to push on from a cup player to league squad regular next season, and should Liverpool give him this opportunity, they could save millions in the market. 3. Japhet Tanganga. While Tottenham boast an exciting midfield and attack, Jose Mourinho still has a long summer ahead. Toby Alderweireld is 31, Ben Davies is always injured, Jan Vertonghen is out of contract this summer, and Danny Rose and Eric Dyer can leave on freeze in 2021. That leaves the defence with just Foyt, Sanchez and Aurier to bank on in the long term, and Foyt has played just 67 league minutes this campaign, while Aurier remains a confusing cocktail of amazing and awful. So the club need to lock down Japhet Tanganga to a new deal before he finds the exit too. The English youngster made his league debut against Liverpool in January and has plugged every gap since, covering Spurs at centre-back and both full-back slots, as well as making his Champions League bow. He wins possession for his team nearly 5 times a game, trailing only Aurier in the squad, and is already good in the air, winning 62% of his aerial duels, better than Sanchez and Alderweireld. In fact, he matches up to the Belgian nicely, ranking joint first with him at White Hart Lane for clearances per game and shots blocked too, showing a good defensive awareness. Homegrown and just 21, Tanganga seems to have Mourinho's trust and the combination of physical and mental abilities necessary to become a top defender. He may have chosen the perfect time to emerge. 2. Joshua Zirkzee. With Havertz linked with Real Madrid and Timo Werner on his way to Chelsea, the long-term heir to Lewandowski remains an open question at Bayern Munich. The Pole may be having the season of his life with 45 goals in 39 appearances at present, but he's also due to turn 32 this summer, and not even a lactose-free diet devised by his nutritionist wife Anna will maintain his current level indefinitely. So the Bavarians will be delighted to see the progress of 19-year-old Joshua Zirkzee, who joined their academy from Feyenoord in 2017 after turning down a move to Everton. In 3 starts, the Dutchman has netted 4 goals to date, one more than Kingsley Coman, despite playing just 20% of the minutes the Frenchman has. While on the field, he's racked up 3.4 shots and 0.9 expected goals per game, the same as Erling Haaland, and while he still needs to bulk up, his speed and 6'4" frame suggest he has the materials to eventually match Lewandowski's physical presence. Already mooted as a wildcard for the Netherlands squad at the postponed Euros next year, Zirkzee is a Bundesliga champion and is now firmly ahead of much heralded summer signing Jan Fiete up in the Bayern ranks. Bayern will hope it's not simply beginner's luck. 1. Giovanni Reyna. If there's one club likely to replace an outgoing 19-year-old with a 17-year-old, it's Borussia Dortmund, and Gio Reyna is poised to take Jadon Sancho's spot if the Englishman exits the Westfalenstadion this summer. Reyna remains a bit part player with just 16 Dortmund appearances to his name, but already has a strong reputation and illustrious admirers, with his former coach at NYCFC Patrick Vieira likening him to David Trezeguet, and Lucien Favre saying he has something special. If you can't see that, you're blind. Reyna has football pedigree, with both his parents former USA internationals, and he's eligible to feature for the States, Portugal or England, where he was born. All 3 are likely to be interested, with the teenager already boasting a Champions League assist against PSG in the knockouts, as well as a spectacular first goal against Werder Bremen in the German Cup. Currently averaging 2 shots, 1.5 key passes and an amazing 3.4 dribbles a game, Reyna is as technically skilled as you'd expect of a Dortmund youngster, but works hard too, pressing opponents 23 times per 90, the 3rd best at the club. According to Transfermarkt, Reyna's value has nearly trebled since February, and he looks set to start 2020-21 as an important squad player. Sancho is probably irreplaceable for a team like Dortmund, but in Reyna, they may just have the next best thing. So those are our 10 youngsters who could save their club millions, but who should we have included? Let us know in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to give us a like and subscribe to the channel. Hit the notification bell to never miss a video. We'll see you next time.